Hello, and welcome to Everyday English, brought to you by the George Washington University Language Center. In today's lesson, we'll be discussing small talk. If you don't know how to make small talk or you find these short conversations to be confusing, don't worry. By the end of today's lesson, you'll have a few tips to help you carry out these conversations with confidence. So, what is small talk? The Cambridge Dictionary defines small talk as conversation about things that are not important, often between people who do not know each other well. But the purpose of small talk in American culture is to get to know someone who you didn't know before. The situations in which you might need to make small talk are almost infinite, including standing at the bus stop, waiting in line, talking with your coworkers before a meeting, or with your classmates on your way to your next study session. There are also those less obvious situations, like at the beginning of a conference or at the end of a phone call. The truth is, small talk has an important role in American culture and conversation. Yes, small talk is polite conversation about seemingly unimportant topics. But we use small talk to get to know others and to find a connection. It helps us start conversation when we meet someone for the first time, or to get comfortable in a stressful situation, such as a job interview. You can also use small talk to help pass the time. With the right tools and understanding of how small talk in English works, you'll be confident when you meet new people at a party or work event, interview for a new position in a company or job, begin a meeting with a professor or potential work partner, network at a job fair, or chat with your neighbors. Small talk are conversations that are usually 5 to 10 minutes in length, so these aren't long exchanges. There are some important tips for engaging in small talk to help you get to know your new acquaintance, but also to carry out the conversation with confidence. The first is that you should keep your conversation light. And by that, I mean keep the conversation generally positive, casual, and friendly. Don't veer into topics that are considered serious or heavy topics. Small talk is usually about current events, including weather, sports, or something that you did over the weekend. So, having a small story, such as a small 2 to 3 minute discussion of something that you did over the weekend, an event in the news, or an interesting thing that happened to you recently, might be useful. Avoid the Me Too syndrome. The Me Too syndrome is when somebody asks you a question or they share a story and you say, "Oh, me too." Avoid saying "me too" when someone is sharing an interest. Answering in this way limits the discussion and takes the focus away from the other person when they are sharing their interests with you. If you share this interest, be sure to mention it, but try to keep the focus on the speaker when she or he is talking. And finally, be yourself. There's no need to put up a show. Some people may simply not engage with you, and that's okay. It's also good to know when to drop the small talk. But if you bring your own interests and talents into the conversation, you're sure to carry it with confidence. There are appropriate topics for small talk, and then there are topics that are generally considered inappropriate for small talk with people that you don't know well. Some appropriate topics may be a book that you recently read, your weekend plans, the latest news, a hobby that you enjoy, just talking about your hometown, or discussing a new movie or TV show that you saw recently. You should try to ask or talk about these elements in a positive way with your coworkers, with your classmates, with your neighbors, and your peers. These appropriate topics are small ways that you can get to know someone else and begin building a relationship. Some inappropriate topics include health problems, discussing how much money you make, religious beliefs or politics, death, or any explicit conduct, including language or sexual activity. These topics are only for close friends and family, because some people have very strong opinions about these topics, or they are considered too personal. There are a number of small talk conversation starters that you can practice using if you are uncomfortable beginning to talk with a stranger. For example, you might talk about the weather. This is often a simple, easy conversation starter because it's something that everyone experiences. You can comment that it's a beautiful day, or you can ask someone if they've heard about a weather prediction. For example, you might say, they're predicting 2 to 4 inches of snow tomorrow. Or, is this weather cold enough for you? If it's a really beautiful day outside, you might start a conversation by asking, gosh, we couldn't ask for a nicer day, could we? An easy default is always, how about this weather? You might also talk about current events. For example, did you see that news story? Can you believe all of the talk about the metro construction? Or a statement, I heard a new restaurant is opening in the neighborhood. Did you hear about it? When you were talking at school or work, you might ask, do you have any big plans this weekend? How long have you worked here? Or, what year of school are you? Or you could make a general observation that invites someone to participate, such as, wow, that was a really busy lunch shift. Or, you look like you could use a break. In informal settings, such as a party or a social gathering, you can make a series of observations or comments that open up questions, such as, what a gorgeous house. I've never been here before. Or, I just love your dress. These types of questions can then, or statements, can then build to new questions, such as, so, how do you know Sarah? Did you get any of that spicy dip? It's delicious. Or, are you having a good time? When you first start engaging in small talk, it's really easy to answer no or yes. But by giving one word answers, you are actually stalling the conversation and making it more difficult for your new acquaintance to carry the conversation forward. So rather than answering yes or no to a question, invite opportunities for your conversant or for you to expand further. For example, instead of no, you might reply, me either. Or, no, but I like. The second formulation, no, but I like, gives you an opportunity to then expand on something that is within your own realm of experience. For example, If somebody asks you, "Do you play basketball?" you might respond, "No, but I play tennis." That will then continue the conversation forward. So you can talk about the differences or similarities between basketball and tennis, or move the conversation to a totally different field. When you are answering in the affirmative, yes, you might also say, "Me too." But remember, you want to keep the conversation moving forward. So asking questions of your new acquaintance is a good way to do that. Rather than answering only yes, you might say, "Me too. How about you?" When you are asking about the other person, you are inviting them to continue sharing, thus moving small talk forward. Now that we've covered the basics, let's review. How do you define small talk? Small talk is polite conversation about topics that may seem unimportant. But small talk is culturally significant because we use it to get to know others and to establish a connection. Some of the benefits of small talk, including making new friends or deepening relationships with friends, coworkers, and neighbors. Socializing and small talk is one of the most important skills language learners have to master. Being communicatively competent in a variety of social situations is essential for any language learner who wants to become fluent in a second language. Sometimes, small talk can lead to large growth. When engaging in small talk, remember these tips. Talk about your common interests, such as sports, current events, hobbies, or even the weather. It's all right to ask general personal information, such as where is someone from, where they grew up, or their occupation. But remember, ask questions or talk in a positive way with your coworkers, peers, and strangers. Small talk helps build relationships. So you want to be someone with whom someone else wants to talk. That concludes today's video on small talk. Do you have any questions? If so, please feel free to contact us. The GW Language Center's email is language@gwu.edu. Be sure to check back soon for more everyday English content.